Hello, thank you for joining me for another episode of Total Ramblings. This has arrived today. I had to get it off eBay. This is Lego set 40767 upscaled baby astronaut, 250 pieces. The reason I had to get this off of eBay is because the only way of getting this normally is as a gift with purchase from the Lego store or Lego online. And I haven't bought any Lego from the Lego store for a long time. So I think the last time I visited the Lego store was on this vlog about 18 months ago. So I bought this off eBay, and you're going to watch me build it whether you like it or not. Okay, there's the front of the box, very cute. Top of the box, upscaled baby astronaut, 1-to-1 tile here. There's the side of the box, he looks quite cute. There's the back of the box with a little area for saying to Andrew, from Andrew, love Andrew. There's the blurby bottom of the box. There's the blurby side of the box. We don't often get a blurby side of the box. So hurrah, blurb on the side of the box. Oh, there goes a bit of cardboard on the floor. The hypergravity's kicked in, traditional year. There's a bit of tape that won't disappear. Got it on the floor finally. Traditional year, traditional year. Okay, empty box. Ladles and jelly spoons. An empty box. And the nature of this camera, I can put the camera right inside the empty box to prove its emptiness. Here's the manual. Lovely, smooth manual. Our progress bar. Oh, how dull. It's just a dot. It's not even a baby astronaut or even a regular astronaut. It's just a dot. There we go. Right, what have we got? Bag 1, bag 3, bag 2, bag 4. Traditionally, it's always a good idea to start with bag 1. So who am I to go against tradition? We're going to open up bag 1. Now, why a Lego baby space astronaut? Well, Lego babies, Lego minifig babies have been a thing for a little while now, a few years, and for the last, well, probably 10 years or more, for the last few years, we've started having baby astronauts. And don't quote me, but I think, well, we've got blue. I know we've got blue. I think we might have a white one and a pink one. I think there's 3 colours of baby astronaut. And anyway, about a year ago, we had a scaled up, that's a bit of purple. We had a scaled up minifigure. And now, I mean, we've had this before, but this seems to be, they're going like properly into the range now. So now we've got a scaled up pirate. And I think there's a scaled up racing driver. I've got the regular minifig, and he's a pretty cool set actually, because, that's the wrong way around, because if you open his head, there is the same colour scheme, like an actual proper minifigure inside driving him, which is quite cool. So, yeah, there we go. At the time of recording this, it is Monday, the 23rd of June, and the nights are drawing in. I've wanted to make that joke for years, but every time I think I'm about to make it, someone else makes it on Facebook, and I feel like I can't make the joke anymore about nights drawing in straight after the longest day, because it's quite funny. It's a funny joke. But anyway, this year, I got in first. So ha! There. Eat that. Right. Some cornery pieces here. Okay, and now we have a black 2x4 plate. Now, something else that came in the post today And I was going to do a separate video on it, but the video will be so short, if I'm honest with you. So what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to wait. I've got one more thing to come, and then I'm going to do a video about the whole thing that I'm about to talk about. Now, some years ago, well, I've always been kind of, not always, but I have a fairly common, one of the things that I do is I like Star Trek uniforms, and I think my first one was a TNG uniform. It wasn't very good, but you know, I liked it. And then I got a whole load of them. I had a Voyager uniform at one point, and comm badges and phasers and things. But of course, as time's gone by, number one, I've got fatter, but also number two, the available props have improved massively. And I bought some decent sort of uniform tops a few years back, one blue, one yellow, one red. And I of course had my Wand Company phaser and my Wand Company communicator, and many years ago with Siobhan, I went to a Hooverville Doctor Who convention in a Star Trek uniform, the joke being that I was at the wrong convention. And then the last time I went to Hooverville, I went going as number 2 from The Prisoner, in, if I say so myself, a highly accurate outfit that took me some months to assemble, and I had to have the blazer, the black blazer with the white piping. I had to have that made especially for me because they didn't do my size. And it's a fantastic cosplay, if I say so myself, because I have got it like bang on precise. Anyway, what happened was, after that last Hooverville, I decided that I would go to the next Hooverville, and this time I would go back as a Star Trek person, but this time I would have a much more accurate / better uniform. And I was going to go as a red shirt, a bit like this guy, and I was going to go as a red shirt, and I was going to throw myself in front of everybody and pretend to die, because red shirts in Star Trek are basically cannon fodder and are known for being, there it goes on the floor, traditional year, and are known for dying. So basically, I mean, I'm sure you know this if you're watching me, if you're watching this. Basically, if you watch an episode of the original series of Star Trek, if there's the opening scene with a random red shirt guy that you've never seen before, he's not going to live till the opening credits. He's not going to live past the teaser scene. So I was going to go as a red shirt. Anyway, what happened was, I can be a bit of a tart sometimes and up my own arse, and I basically decided, I kind of bottled out of going to that Hooverville in the end. I never went. I actually had bought the trousers, the proper Star Trek trousers. They were in a bag, and I'd bought them, and I bottled out of going to Hooverville because I am borderline agoraphobic, and it takes a lot of effort really to get me out of the house. And I bottled it, really. I really bottled it because I have existential crises when I leave the house. If somebody was to invite me out, say this Saturday, I might say yes to be polite, but I'll spend the rest of the week, all the time building up to it, worrying about it and thinking about how can I get out of this. I don't know why I do this, because then I'll go out and I'll have a good time. Anyway, much to my eternal regret, and this is probably to teach me a lesson, I didn't go to that Hooverville, and I didn't go to the one after that, and now my friend Siobhan is dead, and I'll never go to a Hooverville with her again. And I kind of feel like I ought to go to the next Hooverville, but already it's causing me angst, because, you know, that's just the way my mind works, unfortunately. I think I've put something in the wrong place here. I have put something in the wrong place here. Let's start this step again, because I've buggered that up completely. No brick separator with this set, ladles and jelly spoons. Right. Okay. That goes on there. Oh, no, it doesn't. Where did that start from? Right. Yeah, I've totally buggered that up. Totally knackarooed that up. Okay. Ah, missed out one of those. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, anyway, I never went to that Hooverville, and now, you know, I feel like I should go to the next one to kind of honour Siobhan's memory, but already it's causing me angst, like I said. So, it's interesting. So you end up with kind of like a, you do end up with kind of like a gap there. Oh, no, it's no gap there because, of course, that one's got a step in it. Right, there we go. That makes sense. Anyway, what happened was, as you may have seen if you are a regular viewer in a previous video where I reviewed the new Wand Company tricorder, which is a big deal because now we've got the 3 kind of pieces of equipment. I finally cracked open my Star Trek trousers, and they fit perfectly. And I kind of thought, yeah, I really should finish off this outfit. And so I have got boots on order. They're coming from Pakistan. They're custom made. I'm really hoping they're going to do the job. But who knows? But anyway, they're on the way. Unfortunately, they're going to take about a month to get here. I think they must be on a ship somewhere. Anyway, I've got boots on order. And that's the final thing I need to complete my outfit, because the penultimate items arrived today. Now, here's the thing. With the communicator and the phaser, there is no way of attaching them to a belt. And of course, in Star Trek, the original series, whenever they went out with phasers and communicators, they kind of had this weird coloured sort of tan Velcro underbelt, which would sit under the uniform. And they would basically, it appears, stick the communicator and the phaser to them with Velcro, it would seem. That's my understanding anyway. Now, I've been thinking for some years about how best to get this done, but I don't want particularly to glue pads of Velcro to one of my phasers and one of my communicators, because it's going to look rubbish, right? I've got 2 of each, but that's not the point. It's going to look awful, and I don't really want to stick Velcro onto expensive pieces of equipment, because once the thing is in your hand, then you've got an obvious Velcro sort of pad on there, right? So then, of course, it occurred to me, well, hang on, we're in the age of 3D printing now. Maybe somebody could, like, 3D print me, like, a plastic, like, holster or pouch. I found something better. I went on to Etsy, which is a site I've only ever bought from occasionally. I went on to Etsy and, excuse me, one sec. Whisper has just come out. Whisper has spent the whole day sulking in the bedroom, hiding in my wardrobe. She came out briefly, and I've just come back from doing a little bit of food shopping, and she disappeared again. And I found her in the wardrobe, so I've kicked her out, chased her downstairs, and I've closed the door to upstairs. So now she has no choice but to come and sit in the garden and get some fresh air. She's basically like my son Anthony, but in cat form. Anyway, she's just crept past me to go outside. Anyway, yes, I went on to Etsy and I found a guy that does leather pouches for communicators and Lego holsters for phasers. Now, here's the thing. It's not completely screen accurate. They never had proper pouches for the communicators. They never had holsters for the phasers. But I'm damned if I'm sticking Velcro, as I say, onto one of my pieces of kit. And so basically I'm prepared to slightly forego the screen accuracy. Also, if I was at a Hooverville, for example, or a convention, or, you know, and if I was kind of walking around with these things just velcroed to me. I would constantly be worried that either through my own action or brushing through a door or somebody else going past me, they would fall off and either get lost on the floor or shatter into a million pieces. And that's not going to get anybody anywhere. So basically, I'm prepared to forego the inaccuracy. And I have got a leather belt, which will sit under the uniform. And the pouches will hang off of that belt. And my phaser and my communicator will be secure. And my tricorder will, of course, be going around my waist because it has its own strap. So that's what we're doing. Don't care about the accuracy. This is more about being practical, if I'm honest with you. And I know what they were trying to do in Star Trek is they were trying to go for like a futuristic kind of, hey, you can't see how this works, therefore it's all weird in the future. It's like when Gene Roddenberry insisted on the uniforms in Next Generation. He said they mustn't have any visible means of attachment or visible seams or whatever. You know, of course it was all, you know, hidden zips and stuff like that. But, you know, he wanted the appearance to be as if the material sort of magically attached, you know, through some kind of technology so that you could kind of just take it off and it would magically detach whenever you needed it to and stuff like that. Well, unfortunately, we live in the 21st century and that stuff's not available. Also, it's looking like World War III's probably just started in earnest now. So, you know, we're probably not going to get that far, if I'm honest with you. So anyway, yes, I've got this holster and this pouch for my communicator and the belt to go with them. And literally the last thing that I need now are the boots, which are on the way. It says delivery before July 29th. I really hope it doesn't take that long because that would be a major pain in the bum. And I really, really want them so that I can complete the outfit. And then essentially that's 2 proper full cosplay outfits that I will have invested in. The Prisoner, number 6, and Star Trek in whatever colour I choose. Here we go. Right, we are now building the face for this spaceman. So anyway, I didn't do a video on that because it would have been a very short video. Although we are close to 300 episodes and it would have given me an excuse for another episode. But I've talked about it now, so I'm not going to. Unless I don't show this video or unless I just do my normal time lapse and then just forget like I ever recorded this, but I'm not going to. There you go. Because words of wisdom have come out of my mouth and must now be shared with the world. There's his face. Okay, so we're on bag 3, by the way, if you hadn't noticed. And okay, the face now goes on to here. We've got this purple bit here in the middle. Shooby dooby doo. Now that goes there, and that goes there. Lego Space, I think, is my first love of Lego. I had Lego sets before Lego Space. I specifically remember a plane and a London bus. But Lego Space was kind of like, that was my thing, really. And you'll have seen that I have been slowly kind of acquiring vintage Lego Space sets of the era that I was buying them. And this is either sets that I had or sets that I wish that I had. Anyway, but only up to a certain point. I'm not trying to collect everything. It's sets that I had or sets that I wanted, or, you know, ones from the same era. Anyway, I have to say, if somebody was to put a gun to my head and said, you can only save one Lego theme, even though I've invested many tens of thousands of pounds probably in Star Wars and City and all the rest of it, I'd have to say I want to keep Lego Space, including my mocks, my own creations. And they're the ones that actually live here at home. There's a few at the vault, that I need to dig out, of sort of more like neoclassic space, like the Benny stuff from the Lego movie. There's some of those sets at the vault that I need to find, but the actual original Lego space, vintage Lego space sets, they live here. There's a few Lego sets that live here. I've got the Lego Eiffel Tower in the dining room. I've got the Titanic, the Saturn V, the two UCS kind of TIE Fighter, TIE Interceptor, a few other random sets kind of floating around, mostly Star Wars. I've got a massive tower behind me containing Star Wars minifigs and other like Marvel type minifigs. Basically the super valuable, super expensive ones, but the rest of my minifigs live at the vault. In a big box for the most part, although the city ones are with their sets. But anyway, but the only sort of complete theme, as I say, that lives here is Lego space, and this is obviously a Lego space homage. And there is our baby's helmet. That doesn't sound right saying that at all. And there he is. Unfortunately, look, you can see colours, white under there, yeah, and green under there. You can see colours through. That's not ideal. Anyway, I think we're building the oxygen packs. When I was a kid, I could never decide if they were oxygen or jet packs. You see, the thing is with Lego Space, the original Lego Space, is they don't have visors. They just have helmets that are open. But then the rooms in their bases are also have like an open side. So as a child, in my head canon was that they were using some kind of force field technology to keep out the to keep in the atmosphere. And that basically, that force field technology worked on both their helmets and on the sides of their bases that were open for us big humans to play with. So therefore, in my head, it had to be oxygen, but it could also be a jetpack. I decided it could be both. But having said that, I don't think I used them as jetpacks much because, of course, they had spaceships and things to fly around in. So I don't know, really. Maybe I'm just making up these memories. You know, false memory syndrome's a thing, right? So who knows what I thought. I do know that I had a big moon base in my parents', my mother and my evil stepfather's living room behind the sofa. And yeah, glorious days they were. Apart from the fact that I was living with my evil stepfather and my evil stepbrother, but the less spoken about him, the better. So there you go. Right. Now, quite like the shaping of the cylinders back here. And we are coming to the end of this build. And I'd like to thank you for sticking with me, if indeed you have stuck with me and you haven't just fast forwarded to the end. I've got a couple of other Lego videos coming up with some other Lego space gifts with purchase, or gift with purchases, or gifts with purchases, or gift with purchase. I don't know where I'm going with this. Anyway, because as I say, I haven't actually been to a Lego store for some time. So on goes that. And there we go. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 spare pieces. We've looked at the manual. There is our scaled up Lego baby space astronaut person. Unfortunately, his head doesn't turn and his arms don't move. Nothing actually moves on him, but that's okay. That's okay. I think on the original figure minifig scale, nothing moves anyway. You can take the helmet and cylinder assembly off as one, I think. But nice red space logo there. Wouldn't it be cool to have these in all the different colours? Mind you, there's so many Lego space colours now. It's getting a bit out of hand. So there we go. Thank you very much for joining me for this episode of Total Ramblings. I hope you've had fun watching me playing with Lego, and I hope maybe you've found something fun to do alongside me. That sounds weird. Let's not say that again. Anyway, please remember to like, subscribe, share, comment, blah-de-blah-de-blah, do all the usual YouTubey stuff. And I'll see you in the next episode, whatever that might be. Bye-bye.